She has not paid the proper amount of rent, and that's why we're doing the eviction.
I get talked crazy too, talked about right in front of my face. It's just all about money, and I just feel like that's not fair.
When was the last time she had a zero balance? Today we are here for an eviction suit. Whereas it's plaintiff, I have Bill Goring with Goring Holdings versus Erica McVeigh. Before we get started, I just need to confirm, Mr. Goring, are you the owner of the property or are you?
Before we get started, let me just go ahead and set the stage somewhat. So apparently this case is going to be involving a tenant who is insisting that their eviction isn't fair, and the courtroom quickly learns there's more to the story. It says here at 36 with 5 kids, a criminal past, and rent assistance on the line. That could mean a lot of things. But it says that she still can't come up with her small portion in order to keep a 3-bedroom house. So allegedly, it says she blames the landlord, plays victim, and demands credit while knowing another eviction could disturb her benefits. And there's a spoiler alert as well. What the judge decides turns this into a true karma eviction verdict. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get back into it. Before we do, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype.
Just a management company.
I'm not the sole owner. I've got ownership interests. The family Goring Holdings owns the property, and I'm the general principal.
Okay.
GP.
All right. Okay. Without further ado, Mr. Goring, you may present your case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss McVeigh's been in the property since October of 20. I believe I already provided the court the original lease and subsequent amendments, last dated May 28th of 24. She has not lived up to these leases, and as a result, she has not paid the proper amount of rent, and that's why we're doing the eviction. And we've been pretty helpful with her over the years, and even went ahead and put a ramp in for her son at no charge not long ago, but had that done. But in any event, yeah, she's in default. She has not honored our agreement.
Okay. And so, based on what you filed with the court and your testimony, you have a written lease agreement with the tenant. What are the terms of that lease? How much is she required to pay rent per month?
It originally was $750 a month, and that was, as I said, in 2020. And thereafter, we did an extension in 22 where it remained the same, and then we did an extension in 23 where it remained the same. But then on May 28th of this year, she signed an amendment extending to the end of the year and $850 a month.
When was the last time she had a zero balance?
Oh, it would have been in actually early 22. Or no, pardon me. Actually, early 23. EOAC provided a $5,000 payment to her on 9/20/2021.
Okay.
And so that paid for a number of months. And so it paid in.
So I guess EOAC is her assistance that she's receiving. So EOAC, and I believe, and that stands for Economic Opportunities Advancement Corporation, which is state and it's a state and federally funded agency that helps low-income families with rent, utilities, and eviction prevention. So she is getting assistance. It appears government assistance because it's state and federally funded. But let's go ahead and get back into it.
To January. She was in arrears prior to that, but she did not make and did not need to make a payment on 10/1. But then we added some more, and she required it in I believe late January. I'd have to pull it up. That's over a year and a half ago, but she's been in arrears since early 23.
Okay. Let's hear from the defendant. Ms. McVeigh, you've heard the case against you so far. Here's your opportunity to defend yourself.
So what that caption says is, Ultimately, the summation of that means that across about 4 years of living at the residence, from October 2020 to September 2024, she has only personally paid a possible $1,000 towards her rent over the span of 4 years.
Okay, Your Honor. I have been there for a while. Mr. Bill has worked with me over the last few years. He knows everything. I don't hide nothing from him. I get talked crazy too, talked about right in front of my face. He's very disrespectful. And I'm not being mean or ugly. I love them to death, and I love him for tolerating.
Oh my goodness. Do y'all want me to list out the criminal history? Do we have to do that? Do we have to go down the line as far as what it appears her criminal history is? Oh Lord, it's a lot. All right, so we'll start from the top. So, 2009, allegedly theft, class A misdemeanor. Her probation was later revoked. 2010, theft of service, deferred sentence. 2011, theft by check. Oh my goodness. Class A misdemeanor, convicted. 2013, burglary of habitation, second degree felony, deferred adjudication, 10 years probation. 2014, burglary of habitation, first degree felony, deferred adjudication, 10 years probation. 2014, abandon/endanger a child, criminal negligence, state jail felony, deferred 5 years probation. We're not done. 2014, another endangering a child, count 2, charge filed. 2016, burglary of habitation, pled guilty, deferred. 2016, 2 theft offenses, including by check, guilty, convicted, probation revoked. 2022, abandon/endanger a child. Oh my goodness. Intent/knowingly/reckless, state jailed felony, guilty, deferred, fines and costs assessed. I'm gonna let it play for a while. That I'm discombobulated after all that.
Me for 6 years. Okay, my air went out a few months ago in the summer months. As you recall, the heat index was 130. Sir, I did not pay rent because I have an autistic child who is disabled, nonverbal, can't walk, can't talk, and we have no air. I'm begging Mr. Bill for AC unit. I had to make a payment to get one unit in a 3-bedroom house. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Um, I have two toddlers, twins. They're just two. So with that being said, I had to take my children to a hotel so they can cool off because it's clear we couldn't stay at home. And that wasn't free for me to do that. I'm a single parent of 5. You
Of
know what I'm
what?
saying? So it wasn't
Oh
like
yeah,
I
she did
wasn't
say.
not intentionally not paying my rent, but how can I pay my rent? I have no air. You're not even willing to, work with me on this. It's just all about money. But my children are suffering. And I just feel like that's not fair.
Okay.
I just had a death in the family. I told them about that. I just took them $1,100. We make verbal agreements. Everybody rent went up. My next door neighbor rent is still $750, and she's been there for 9 years. Why did my rent go up? I can't even tell you. I honestly didn't even know what I was signing, but that's another story. It is what it is because it's on paperwork. I just don't even understand why it went up, and I'm the only one that it went up on. And so, I'm just asking just for to give me and my children time to get out. It's no air still, and that's fine. I don't mind leaving. I get a 3-day eviction letter every month. This is not the first one. He still works with me.
When did you initially notify Mr. Goring in regard to the air conditioning unit? What date? Was it
What,
June? Was it May? Was it August? When was it?
what was your question, Your Honor?
When did you initially notify Mr. Goring about the air conditioner being
Oh, sir, this was in June,
okay?
May, right after Easter.
So it's May.
Right after Easter, yes, sir. I
So
have not had air since.
So from May up
Till now.
until now,
Ma'am, you are going to have chronic spinal issues if you do not stop talking with your head like this. Goodness gracious. Why you can't just talk regular?
Right after Easter, yes, sir.
So-
I have not had air since.
so from May up
Till now.
until now, is it central air and heat or is it window unit?
It is most definitely central heating air. I've been having central heating air for 6 years. No problem. The air went out. He gave me 1 unit. I had to go purchase my own, and he told me he was not going to give me a second one until I made a payment. And that's exactly what happened. So my children, literally 5 children, sleep in 1 bedroom. That's how hot the house is.
You also stated that you had to pay for a hotel.
I did.
How many times did you have to pay for a hotel, and how much did you?
I had to pay for weeks. I had to pay for weeks at the hotel. We could go home when the sun go down. So we would just stay at the hotel because what was the point of going home? We would go home to get clothes at nighttime.
And this has
And
been
it
going on
feels
since.
like that right now. I'm still going through it now
This has
because it's
been
still hot.
this is going on since May.
Yes, sir. And with the ramp, I had reached out to my son is he's autistic.
You know it's crazy. Like this court hearing is so skewed now. After hearing that criminal history, I don't. It's going to be hard for me to believe a word that's coming out of her mouth. And I know the judge is like thinking the same thing because I'm sure that he's also privy to that information as well. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. She had a lot of theft things, it was all over the place. It was the works. So I mean, I have a lot to say, but I'm gonna just let it continue on.
So he gets a lot of, they get a lot of help from the state. And the state came out and built a ramp, and they're going to pick it up when I move. So that's not their property. That's something that's going to get moved to my next house eventually.
Okay, so what you're saying is that it wasn't something that the landlord purchased.
Correct. That's exactly what I'm saying.
This was another state agency that came in.
Yes, sir. And I have their information. Yes, sir. They build ramps for the needy people, the elderly, children, anyone that needs one. That's it. And they're willing to take it off of the house too.
Did Mr. Goring know that you were staying in hotels?
Mr. Green, honestly, I'm not being disrespectful. If it's not about money or payment, nothing really matters. That's just the truth. My kids, they didn't matter. If they did, they would have had more than one AC unit in a 3-bedroom house. And also, Your Honor, last week, some potential buyers, I think, came out to view the house. And they had even asked me how long was the AC out themselves. They asked me when they viewed the property. They were in shock that it had been out for so long.
Okay. All right, Mr. Goring, here's your opportunity to counter anything that's been said in regards to this property.
All right. 3 things come to mind, but basically disagree with a number of statements she indicated. I don't know more from the start or backwards, but we'll go to the start. She did go ahead and call in, and here's our ledger, if you would, for repairs and call-ins. And she did call in on 5/13, and I did go out there. Was there on 5/16, and it was 77 degrees inside. Uh, and doubling, well, save that. We did go ahead. I did go in there a number of times, and it seemed to be operational. Temperature was all right. She had her own window unit in the dining area. Then went ahead and contacted AC Group. AC Solutions went and serviced the property on June 3rd. I'd gone in prior to that. She's responsible for taking care of the property. There was an anthill built inside and alongside the AC unit that was about this tall. Rusted out, all of that. The dirt didn't help. She wasn't taking care of that. In any event, they went and took a look at it and went ahead and put a hard start on it. They did go ahead, recommend replacing. I charged us $135. They recommended replacing the AC portion because it's older refrigerant. And so they said, we really can't repair it. Don't want to repair it. It's using the older refrigerant. We can repair it, but it's $8,000. Went ahead and provided Miss McVeigh an additional air conditioner and actually bought two and asked her and told her, here's one. When you make the next payment, here's another one. Well, she didn't make another payment until 2 months later. But she does have 3 window units in there. It's 1,000 square feet. Those 3 units are rated to about 18,000 BTU. So she's got air conditioning in there, has had air conditioning in there. To my knowledge, I have no knowledge of them being in the hotel. She was talking about potential buyers. They weren't in last week. They were in the week before.
Well, here's the thing. All right. Because now I'm seeing more landlords talk about just buying the portable units that you put in, kind of like how the hotels have, but that's not important. The main thing that's important here is that she was saying that she's been having to stay in a hotel because the house was just uninhabitable due to not having central air. That's super easy to prove. So now it becomes, because he's saying that she never mentioned that she had to stay in a hotel. So she should be able to come with those receipts very easily, especially since it's been seeming like she's saying she's been having to stay there habitually. She's been having to habitate in the hotels habitually. So I want to see if she's going to bring the receipts of that. And I would say if she does, then I think that makes a strong case that it's uninhabitable if you literally stayed in a hotel throughout that time, and that's what you put your rent towards.
And in fact, we do have it under contract. And when we went in, they mentioned that, well, that's not that bad because the primary bedroom was cold with the new unit in it. It might have been in the 60s. But feel that I've provided properly, done the right thing. We've been, Conan Group Realty has been open for 40 years. I've done a lot of things over the years. I'm old. But I also was a member of the Texas Association of Realtors Property Management Committee at its inception in 2003 and served for 10 years. And we drew up all the leases, everything else, heard lawyers and all that. I feel that I've provided properly as best as I could, given the circumstances. And as I said, she went ahead and we went ahead and put the ramp in. Thereafter, in August, or what date was it? Let me grab the piece of paper. Thereafter, she signed an extension. She could have moved. She could have moved here month to month, but then she signed an extension. When was it? Oh, what'd I do with it? There it is. On May 28th, she signed an extension while we were in the middle of it, and supposedly it was out 2 months prior.
Because keep in mind, remember this. He says she really hadn't had a zero balance over the course of 4 years, if I recall at the beginning. And remember, she not only did she decide to allegedly stay and basically renew her lease, but she even had him do something permanent and put a ramp that was specifically tailored towards one of her disabled kids. So that doesn't make sense now. So now it's starting to fall apart. And see, I was starting to come around, but again, man, I just have to question the character after seeing that record and her trustworthiness and even the nature of the offenses that, you know, were on her record.
I have every belief that I've done right by the lease, provided housing.
Okay. So what you're stating is that she did put the maintenance request in May. You provided, you had technician come out, found an ant mound right there. Ants, they're attracted to vibration. And so they probably went in there and they ate away some of the components that's in there. And it's rather hard to, get that replaced. Maybe the capacitor, the contactors. That's what ants do. They're getting those contactors and they'll get them pitted out. And then if it's an older unit, it's running R22. And if in order to, replace it, you're looking at roughly right around $8,000. That's about right. That's true. And so instead of replacing it, what you're telling me is that you did provide her with 3 window units
Yes, sir.
to to take care of this 1,000 square foot property. So is that your sworn testimony that you did provide her with 3 window units, and there's 3 window units in this house right now?
No, sir. As
He
I
did
said earlier,
two.
she had her own in the dining area, and then subsequently I provided 2 more.
Two, and he
Two
said if
more
she
new
pay the
units.
rent,
Okay,
then he'll
she
do
had her
Well,
own.
another
she
one.
had 2 total.
Okay.
Yeah, she had one.
She
Because
had
she
one.
always liked to keep it cool.
Okay.
When I initially investigated it, the inside thermometer said it was 77 degrees. Things were blowing, but yes, sir. Yeah, by and large, I think you understand. Yes.
You did provide 2.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in total, there's 3 window units inside of this 1,000 square foot property.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Can
So
I speak, Your Honor?
I'll give you one final opportunity to speak. I wish
Okay.
that I had some further proof with regards to the air conditioning units, because it's
I bought it from the pawn shop. I can go get it. I can really get a proof for my air conditioner units.
okay. But
I
Miss
Should have brought
I
it.
just need to ask a question. Did he provide you
yes,
with 2
sir.
more window units?
Yes, he provided me with one in May. I just got the second one last month. So you do the math, Your Honor. I bought my own air conditioner. That does not count. I have a 3-bedroom house, 5 children. We can't even go in the living room. I did have my air conditioner that I bought out of my pocket in the window because he would not provide me with one when my air first went out. That's not how it worked. I had to beg for one. I only got that one. Couldn't get another one until he received a large amount of pay. So that's 5 months later, I got a second one.
Okay, so you had one.
Listen, man, she makes a point. At the end of the day, it's not cutting it. You can't listen. You can't have me in here burning up or freezing to death, right? I understand that point, and I think the judge does too. But what I wish the judge would ask is the $1,000,000 question, which is, well, why did you renew the lease? A lot of times judges will ask that. And hers is so much more egregious just because she's been there for so long. Listen, I've been waiting long enough to say this because this is important. This is important. She is literally the poster child for self-inflicted wounds. She is the perfect use case. Criminal history that extends so far that it's actually exhausting to read out. 5 kids, and she's single. And then how that extends even further is she's actually getting assistance as well to basically be able to take care of her for the decisions that she's made. And this is the problem. This is the overlying problem. And somehow it managed to come back to this. And this is where we talk about all the time. Self-inflicted wounds out the wazoo. And now she's about to put another self-inflicted wound on herself. It seems like, although it's obvious he was being cheap and maybe he doesn't have it, he didn't want to pay the $8,000 to just go ahead and get the air condition fixed. This guy seems very reasonable. He seems like a fair guy. And I think it's fair if over 4 years he's been working with you and you've never had a zero balance. So that means you've been late for a long time. And this has been spanning for a long time. And this man's been patient. He put in a rent for your child. But see, this is where the character comes in and how that ties into her criminal background. Because she saw an opportunity and now she's trying to take advantage. The first opportunity she got, she decided to try to capitalize off that. Whereas the first opportunity when you didn't pay, he could have been evicted you and then you would have lost your benefits. And see, this is going to be the final nail in the coffin. And by final nail in the coffin, I mean the final self-inflicted wound. Because if she gets evicted and she's on a program and receiving assistance, it's a good chance she's not going to be able to receive any more assistance anymore. As well as the fact, even with that in mind, with a criminal record like the one that she has, that was another way that he looked out because it's not going to be very many people that are going to rent to her, which she's going to have the eviction. Didn't some of those things say like she went and basically tried to squat and habitate in people's homes? Something of habitation. Let me see. Some of these charges, it says Yeah, burglary of habitation. Burglary of habitation. She had 2 of those charges, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Matter of fact, 3. I'm sorry. Hold on. 3 of them, which is, if I'm not mistaken, burglary of habitation is like trying to squat somewhere, right? You squatted, and then it's like you tried to squat there so that you can then have to be evicted. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I didn't have time to do the research, but you got all these type of things on your record. Who's gonna rent to you again after that? Who's gonna take another chance on you? You're gonna have the eviction. You got 5 kids, so it's 6 of y'all in there. And then burglary of, you got all these things on your record and a bad attitude. She's talking like like she's got all the cards in this situation. And like she doesn't need this man way more than he needs her.
That you bought. He provided you one in May, and then 5 months later, he gave you another one.
I just got one last month, sir.
Okay, okay.
The second one.
Okay, all right. Okay,
May I say something, Your Honor?
very briefly, Mr. Gordon.
Yes, sir. I had the second unit sitting in the back room for 3 months and told her she's welcome to have it if she could make an additional payment of some sort, and did nothing.
I
And at
remember
the
he said
time,
that.
she said, well, I can go get another one. But it's been sitting back there for over 3 months.
Okay. What we're going to do next, I'm going to take a brief recess. I'm going to put both of you back in the breakout room, in the waiting room, and I'll be back with you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, court's now back in session.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I went through everything that was filed with the court, and I did some calculations with regards to rent that was paid all the way up to the time that the maintenance request was made. That was in May. Statutorily, as the property code reads, chapter 92, if the tenant is up to date on their rent at the
Oh.
time that a maintenance request is made, and if
Oh.
the condition of the premises materially affects the health and safety of the tenant, then the landlord has a duty to repair or remedy. But the key word,
Yep. The
the
first thing he
tenant has
said,
to be up to
be
date
up
on
to
the
date
rent.
on the rent. Look at that. Didn't I tell you that man was fair? I can just pick up on his energy. I can tell he's a fair man. And see, you got to be really paying attention to what he said throughout this. He said he's on the board of committee for the people who I believe came up with some of these laws. And he prefaced that at the beginning to let the judge know I know the laws very well. And so when he bought that other unit and just said, "Give me some more rent," he knew he was well within his right to really not even give it to her until she caught up the entire balance. But he was being fair and he was being cool, and he knew the whole time that he was justified in doing that. He doesn't have to show his cards and let you know that, but he was really being fair, and it's kind of like a test to see if, like, work with me, man. I've been working with you. I've been doing everything you asked. I'm trying, but I need you to also work with me because I've already worked with you, and honestly, most people, when they would have saw your criminal record, wouldn't have even let you come stay here to begin with. And then you got 5 kids here, so that's more people here, which is also further depreciating my property because there's more people living in here, and kids are a little bit less controllable, especially when there's not a man around to keep order within the home. And this man really has been working with you, and this is how you treat him. And now you about to F around and you about to find out.
That's the key. Based on my calculations, Ms. McVeigh, you were not up to date on your rent at the time that you made the maintenance request in May. Therefore,
This was a good one.
your argument that you should receive some sort of concessions for the air conditioning unit not working properly is considered invalid.
Also, I had to clear ant Paul. I don't know.
So what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. The way the property code reads, if you the tenant, if your rent was up to date, whenever you placed that maintenance request in May, then and if he did not repair the air conditioner like he was supposed to, then I could have gave you some credit towards your rent today. That's pretty much long story short. I could have, deducted money that you were supposed to pay him from May up until now. But based on the ledger that he provided to me, you were delinquent in rent. Your rent was not paid up in full at the time you made the request. So I want to make sure that you understand that I heard you, but I cannot exercise any judicial remedies in your case, meaning that I cannot give you any credit for the hotel stays and for anything else that happened during that time frame. Now, with that being
Meaning that
said,
you're cooked.
you did state you purchased your own window unit. I'll give you that. I'll give you credit towards the purchase of your window unit. All right. On
Yes,
average,
sir.
the window unit costs right around $500. You got it from the pawn shop. There's no receipt. I'm just going to say on average, a window unit is going to run about $500. Okay. So I will give
Judge,
you credit towards that. Okay. At the time that this case was filed, Mr. Goring stated that you owed for June, July.
we know she didn't spend no $500 on that window unit at the pawn shop. She ain't had a receipt. See, that's why. Because here's the thing, man. You got to be in tune. You can't be drifting out here. If she'd have spent $750 on it, she'd have been like, "Nah, Judge, no, I spent $750. I can get the receipt, Judge." But notice she didn't bat an eye. She didn't dispute it whatsoever because she knows she probably spent $150 on that air conditioning unit at the pawn shop.
August and September, and that the amount that you owed him was $2,870. Again, I'm going to give you credit for the $500 that I'm estimating you paid for a window unit.
What about my $1,100 that I just paid though?
For
I
what?
just made $1,100 payment last month.
You been
So do you
owing.
have that?
That's not
Get credit for your rent?
correct, Your Honor. She paid $895. Promised to come in. That would have been, I want to say, 29th. Promised to come in with another 100. She's going to pay $1,000 a month. She got that window unit. She paid $895, and that was actually a check from EOAC.
I do not. The last payment I have for you, ma'am, is according to this ledger is on September 12th of 2024, and that is $100.
No, that's not correct, and my mom is right.
That is correct. That is correct. She called me up and she said she had a payment for me and meet her at her house. And I went and I waited. And then she gave me $100. And I said,
that is correct.
okay. Well, you didn't appreciate it. It wasn't correct, but that's what happened.
I gave you $100, but
Ma'am,
Okay, hold on.
please let the
yeah, because I don't want to argue with them.
Listen. You said you paid him $1,100.
Right.
I just paid him at the end of the month. My mom and my aunt went inside with me. I just made a payment for a $900 money order. Not $895, not $845. It was $900. Okay, and
Well, I
then
don't
I
like
gave
that
him
on
an
the ledger.
extra $100. So that is correct. It was an extra $100. So basically $1,000.
So you paid $900 on September 12th, and then later on
That's
I
still
paid
not
$900
$1,100.
at the end, at the beginning of the new month, at the end of
Your Honor,
August, like August 30th.
I have according to his ledger, he's showing that a payment of $900 is made on August 12th, August 20th.
That's not even correct. Well, okay. Okay. I don't want to.
I just
Yeah.
saying, August 20th, he said you made a payment of 900, and then on September 12th, you made a payment of 100.
Sir,
You
the
already had that in there.
calculation is going to be off.
Okay, so
anyway.
I'll tell you what. Hey,
I barely get receipts, so I don't know.
So long. Okay, so what you're saying is that you should have credit.
She don't learn. She don't learn. If I was this dude, I'd be like, well, you know what, Your Honor? Legally, you really wasn't supposed to give her that $500 credit off. She don't even realize that. He already said he didn't have to handle any of that if you weren't up to date on your rent when you put in the request. He did that for you, but you really weren't entitled to that. And see, if I was this dude, I'd have fought harder on that. I'd have been like, you know what, Your Honor? I don't agree that she should get that credit because you just read the law as it stated. And that basically states that she doesn't get that credit. Since we want to sit here and try to
Credit for an additional $1,000.
I should. For
Okay.
sure. I have
All right.
I have
Okay.
witnesses that went
Okay.
inside with
I'll
me.
tell you what. Look, I'm just going to do it like this. I'm going to deduct $1,500 from the amount that he's indicating that you.
Your Honor, may I interrupt?
All right,
Yeah.
Mr. Gorey.
Advocate on your behalf.
Let's just. I need to close this case out. All right.
Nah, fuck that. Hold on.
The amount that
He's talking about I need to close this case out. Why you didn't say that when she just interjected and was wrong? And now this dude actually has things. You've been taking everything from her off word of mouth in pawn shop with no receipt. This dude has all his receipts and you don't want to hear what he has to say after you just changed something just based off what she said and then you found she was wrong? What in the world is wrong with this judge?
the amount that he alleged that you owe was $2,870. I'm going to give you credit for $1,500 from the $2,870. That leaves $1,370.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I appreciate your work on this. That's not accurate, but thank you.
I'm just trying to close this case out.
See?
Okay.
So what do I do, Your Honor?
You're not finna just talk about you trying to close it out on, and I gotta bear the brunt of it. And look at this dude; he's still being fair while he's getting railroaded. And your justification for me not getting what I'm owed after I had been not getting what I was owed for 4 years is you're just gonna tell me that your reason is because you just want to close the case out and be done with it, man. And this dude has been being very fair. He done invested in a ramp, all type of stuff. I don't know whether family need that ramp.
Because I'm really just gonna just move.
You should have been
Give me 1
moved.
second. I'm just going to the judgment.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I don't truly expect to get those funds anyhow, but thank you.
True. Good point. Good point.
That's exactly what I go through.
So there's going to be a judgment
Good
against
point.
you for $1,370 plus the court cost of $144. That's going to be
Okay, that's fine.
added to the $1,370. Now, with that being said, you have the right to appeal my decision. I have to tell you this first. Appealing my decision means you disagree with my decision for ruling in favor for Mr. Goring and against you. But in order for you to appeal, you would have to post an appeals bond of $1,700. That's if you want to appeal. You cannot afford the appeal bond and you still want your case heard by another judge, then you can contact someone from Lone Star Legal Aid. Now, there's a deadline for you to appeal this case. You statutorily, today being Thursday, the 3rd, you have 6 days from today's date, 7 days from today's date to appeal. That's including weekends. 6. You have 6 days from today's date. Sorry, 6. 6 days from today's date to appeal my decision.
So the 14th or the 13th? I'm trying to see.
6 days from
Today's the 2nd.
You know she's going to appeal.
Today's the 3rd.
Oh, yeah,
So
today's the 3rd.
6 days from today, that's the last date that you can appeal. All right?
So October 9th is what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now, if you
She want to appeal to buy some more time. Look, this dude starts smoking in court. I'd have did the same thing. Judge, you gonna disrespect me like that? I'd have whipped out the Jack Daniels, put it on the thing and started pouring it and drunk and started drinking. Cause you gonna disrespect me like that and railroad me like that and just basically play in my face talking about I'm just trying to close out the case. Well, no. That's not no. Get all the details before you close out the case. And like this dude said, he ain't gonna get his money anyway. But now she's about to add insult to injury and try to stall things further, allegedly, by trying to appeal. That's why she was making sure to get that appeal information in those dates, because that is a commonly used tactic to get yourself more time, because once this goes in, usually they can evict you in a couple days unless you file that appeal.
You do not appeal. The only other two options that are out there is if you move out by that date.
I'm going to. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I want to make sure that that's clear, because
So, but
if
who do I
you
make a payment to?
just,
'Cause I'm not,
I'll tell you that
okay.
if you do appeal, everything goes to me. All right, start now. But if you choose to move out on or before that day, you need to make sure that Mr. Goring knows that you've moved out. You put it in writing that you've moved out, and you give him the keys, but by that date. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Yes, sir.
in regards to the amount of money that you owe him, that is going to be between you and Mr. Goring after today. When you pay him, how you pay him is going to be between y'all. The only thing that I can encourage you to do is make sure you have good records of the payments that are made. And
Yes, sir.
once you satisfy the judgment amount, and at that time, you can get a release of judgment from him. That way you can keep that a part of your records whenever you do apply for someone else. All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Judgment in favor of the plaintiff. Court's adjourned.
That wasn't in favor of the plaintiff, if you ask me. And see, you know what's funny? You know what's crazy? In closing, you know, when we see people like this that put these type of wounds on themselves and then they end up coming back later and they need help from everybody and all these sources, she's already getting assistance. I'm sure this man has had to help her in a multitude of ways. And this is how she does him. That's why a lot of times I'm very much strictly business, and I'm just strictly about as far as, because I know that there is like a wake of situations like this where people were burned, good people were burned, and they tried to do something nice and they tried to help. And then this is how they get done. And see, look what she really did. This man was probably saw an opportunity. He saw a single mother with all these kids in a destitute situation, needing help, with a horrible record, but he took a chance on her, probably for her kids and for her, so that they could have some shelter. And now what you just did is, now he's going to get colder, because if he ever runs into a situation like this again where someone needs help, now he's going to have the frame of reference to remember this situation in this circumstance. And he's probably going to be like, no, I don't want nothing to do with that. And it's all because of you. And then there's going to be another opportunity where you want someone else to hear your story and feel bad for you. But I think what we'll find is it's actually karmic retribution in real time. So we'll leave it there for today. This was a good one, though. Y'all, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I am a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we get more points per hype, and it was designed for smaller channels. And that's why we get more points. And also, if you try to hype a video that has been uploaded 7 days later, the hype button probably won't show because it goes away after 7 days usually. So it's usually best to hype while the iron is hot. If you see a newer video and you have that hype option, if you want to support me with the hype, then probably best to just go ahead and hype right there. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content as well. But until then, I will see you all in the next video.